There's someone your age, someone out there who would give anything for the time you have right now. They'd give anything to be in the position you are. And we don't know when our time runs out. We never really do. And while comparison can be toxic, this one matters. There are people in worse positions than you, wishing for one more day, one more chance. A chance to try the thing they kept putting off. A chance to say something they were too scared to say. A chance to do something they assumed they'd get around to do. So the next time you're lying in bed, debating whether today matters, or telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, I'll start next week, or I'll start when things feel right. Remember this, for a lot of people, that chance will never come. And if that doesn't motivate you to start, I don't know what will, because you still have that chance. So if you're going to act now. It's now or never. Not because it's dramatic or some motivational quote, but because there may not be a later. And I'm not saying this to pressure you or hype you up, and I'm definitely not saying it because I think everyone needs to quit their job and make some huge reckless decision. I'm saying it because most people don't actually fail at the things they care about. They delay them slowly, quietly, in ways that feel reasonable enough that no one ever questions it. And delay is comfortable. It lets you tell yourself you're being patient or strategic, when in reality you're just avoiding the discomfort. The discomfort that comes when you do something before you feel fully prepared. And the problem is that there is no natural endpoint for this preparation. There's always more information you could gather, more planning you could do, more certainty you could wait for. And if you let that choice dictate your actions, you can stay stuck indefinitely while telling yourself, oh, I'm still working on it, I'm getting there. So if there's an idea, a direction, or a goal that keeps resurfacing in your mind over months or even years, that isn't random. People don't repeatedly think about things that have no emotional weight for them, and they don't keep coming back to the same ideas unless there's something unresolved there. What usually stops people isn't a lack of ability or intelligence, it's the moment where the idea has to leave the head and collide with reality. An example for this in my life is starting this channel. I was so nervous to start this channel. I kept putting it off, and then one day I just realised, what is stopping me? I'm just making excuses in my head. I'm saying, oh, I'm slowly getting ready, I'm slowly building up to it, but the perfect time to start is now. And as long as something stays theoretical, it gets to remain perfect. It can't disappoint you and it can't prove you wrong. But the moment you act, you lose that safety. The outcome is no longer imaginary. It's real, and that is sometimes uncomfortable. But there is another layer to this that keeps people stuck longer than they realise. And it's something we rarely question because it's so normalised. Telling everyone what you're planning to do. We're encouraged to share our goals early, to talk about what we're working on, to explain our plans before there's anything tangible to point to. And again, on the surface, that does seem healthy. It feels like accountability before you've even done anything. It feels like momentum. But often what happens instead is that talking becomes a substitute for progress and action. Because when you explain your plans to other people, you get feedback, encouragement, and reassurance before you've actually earned it. Your brain gets a small sense of completion, not enough to feel satisfied, but enough to dull the urgency to follow through. And without realizing, you start protecting the idea instead of building it. You become more concerned with how it sounds than whether it will work, and you become more focused on maintaining the identity of someone who's going to do this instead of someone that actually has done it or is doing it. So I think working in silence completely removes that entire dynamic. I'm not saying be super secretive or whatever and not tell anyone anything in your life. I'm not saying that. But getting that sense of completion without any action, I think that is dangerous, and that kills the progress of people. Even if they get past the barrier of, I'll start tomorrow, they do start, but then they never follow through. And I think that's super harmful, because the kind of quiet effort where nobody knows what you're up to, it isn't exciting, and it doesn't feel productive in the moment, but it's the environment where real progress happens. And like I said, it doesn't mean you never tell anyone anything you're up to, and it doesn't mean you isolate yourself completely. It just means you delay the announcement until there's something real behind it. You give yourself time to struggle, adjust, and to be bad at it without feeling like you're letting anyone down. Because results have a way of speaking for themselves, and they don't need as much explanations as intentions do. So if you're watching this and you feel restless or stuck, or that like time is passing faster than you're comfortable with, don't look for some huge dramatic shift that's going to change everything overnight. Look for the smallest step you've been avoiding, that one that would make the idea real instead of theoretical. Do it quietly, do it imperfectly, and keep doing it long enough that it starts to compound. Just do it. And most people don't miss their opportunity in one obvious moment. They miss it slowly while waiting for conditions that never fully arrive, and then they cling on to some new idea which never happens, and then a new idea. It's just one big cycle unless you act. And you still have time to act, to seize that moment. But the question is whether you're going to use it or keep explaining what you plan to do with it. And for this video, that's all I wanted to say. I hope it's been helpful. So yeah, thank you for watching.